Yeah, so back in April 2019, it was Graham McLennan came up with the idea to start Morton Club Together as a way of providing additional funds to the first team budget at Morton. At that time, the owners were looking to turn Morton into a break-even business after probably 20 years of making losses year on year. So Morton Club Together was kind of seen as a way to supplement that first team budget and ensure that the team could still remain competitive in the championship. Graham assembled a team of entirely volunteers with a fantastic range of skills, knowledge and abilities, and 2.5 years later we're here. But the goal kind of developed halfway through where it became a possibility that community ownership could be achieved. So really what started off as just an idea from Graham to help the club out has developed significantly over the last 2.5 years to the point that we're now community owned with almost 900 members paying in monthly and supporting the club. So it's been a brilliant journey. The actual negotiation process itself, there probably weren't too many surprises. It took longer than we would have liked. The initial position that we had in the summer of 2020 was one that Golden Casket would have retained ownership of the stadium and the car park. Early in 2021, we took that to members of Morton Club Together and we went through a kind of consultation process with them. And the message was pretty clear from that the fans and members wanted Cappielow to be under the control of the club. So we took that back to the negotiating table, and that was a really strong process we went through because we had more than 500 people complete that consultation. So it gave us a real strong position to say, look, this is what the supporters want, how do we make it happen? Soon after that we got the deal agreed where Cappielow would remain under Morton. From that point though, there were probably a few intricacies in the actual legal side of it in terms of the takeover when it came to getting the deal totally over the line. Stuff like small pieces of land that the club don't own or didn't own that we just had to work through. And in the first instance we had hoped to get it over the line by June this year. It took longer than that, but the most important thing was that we got it right and we didn't make any mistakes in that process. So eventually by later in 2021 we did get the deal over the line, but I suppose that there were a few intricacies and a few things that threw up along the way, but it was just a process that we had to go through, and thankfully we got there in the end. I think the number one thing about being a fan-owned club is that the people that love the club most are in control of the club and own the club. I think that's a massive part of community ownership, and the big thing for us is about getting the full fan base and supporter base and the wider Inverclyde community to kind of buy into that and bring supporters that have been coming for years, bring lapsed supporters back, bring new supporters back, and just keep engaging with as many of these people as possible. We've also got a fantastic community trust at Morton, and there's so much that can be done between the club and them to support the work they do, shout about it more, and they've been doing great work for years, so it's just about making the most of that. The great thing with community ownership is in the last couple of weeks we've launched a supporter survey. So far we've had 650 responses to that, and that shows that people really care and they want their opinions to be heard, and now they'll hopefully have a platform to do that. It's still early days and there's no denying that the first few months have been tough, but we will get there, and it's that ability to engage with supporters and make their voices heard that I think will be really important under community ownership. Moving forward, kind of longer term, at the minute the aim is very much to get financial stability, but in the longer term, once we achieve that, the hope is that we can go to members and say, what do you want your money to be spent on? Because the club won't be as reliant on that money to break even, and it will be whether it's to invest in the stadium, invest more in youth, similar to what Smiza do with their kind of money. So the hope is that we can get to that point in the next few years. And we don't want to be a usual Scottish football club. We want to do more. We want to follow the likes of Brentford and Bohemians and be different and make ourselves stand out. And I think community ownership gives us opportunity to do that. Yeah, so I think first and foremost, before talking about on the pitch or financially, we want to give fans a club that they can be proud of. There's probably been periods over the last couple of decades where fans haven't felt like that. There's maybe even points just now where they feel like that, and ultimately we want to give fans a club that they feel a part of, that they're proud to say they're a Morton fan, they're proud to do things for Morton, they're proud to invest in the club through MCT or through season tickets. The more kind of serious stuff, financially we want to be sustainable, we want to get to a point where the budgets break even, certainly within the next 3 years, and we want to reduce that reliance on the MCT membership money so that the business is running sustainably on its own, and then that money can go to additional things like stadium improvements and investing further in youth. Beyond that, I think on the pitch this season the aim has to be staying in the league. We're down the bottom at the minute, so the current focus has to be just maintaining our championship status and ensuring that we're in the championship next season. But that's not to say that next season the aim is finish 8th again. We look at the likes of Arbroath this season, Livingston a few seasons ago. There's always going to be teams with bigger budgets in the leagues, but there's no reason that we can't be pushing up the table, pushing for the playoffs and over the coming seasons. But in the first instance, stay in the championship this season, then push on from there. Longer term, as I say, the number one thing is just giving fans a club that they can love and they can be proud of every day.